Good afternoon, Rivalers. My name is Jared Erickson. Welcome to Rival Fitness. I'm a personal trainer here, and today we're going to go over the Tuesday trainer tip of the week. I want to welcome back our good friend Natanya. She's going to help me demonstrate. But before we get into the meat of the exercises, I want to talk about glute activation and why that's important. Our glutes are one of the biggest muscles we have, and in today's society, they're the most underactive muscle we have, mainly due to our static jobs that most of us have. So how do we start activating our glutes? Natanya here is going to do a glute bridge. She's going to dorsiflex with her toes, meaning pulling those heels or toes up off the ground. She's going to push in through her heels, and as she does that, pushing through your heels is going to really maximize the glutes. And she's going to do about 10 reps here, up and down with her glute bridge, warming it up. As she's doing that, she's also pulling her belly button into her spine, which helps engage that transverse abdominis. So the transverse abdominis is the last layer of abdominal muscle we have. Right above that we have our two layers of obliques, the external and internal obliques. And then we have our rectus abdominis, or the six-pack muscle, which always looks good, but it's not the important muscle we're going after today. Today we want to always work on that transverse abdominis. So she's pulling in that belly button, which is not inhibiting her breathing. She wants to make sure we're breathing naturally the entire time. Really focusing in on these glutes. Now I'm going to have her kick up her left leg, and she's going to do a single leg glute bridge. What is she fighting here? She's fighting hip rotation. That left hip is wanting to drop down. So she's using her core to keep her hips absolutely level while maintaining this one. Go ahead and warm up the other side. And what we're doing right now is basically warming up our glute activation, making sure our glutes are firing properly. So one of the most basic exercises we can do to work on our glutes is a lunge. There's several different types of lunges we can do, but I'm just going to go over one, and that's a static lunge. So we have Natanya here. She's going to go ahead and get in a lunge form. As she steps out, we're pushing our weight into her heels. And again, I've said this repeatedly, putting that weight in the heels is going to maximize glute contraction. Rather than in our toes, when our weight's all on our toes, we're very quad dominant. And if we're after our glutes, we want to be in those heels. And then she's going to push back. So this is an alternating lunge. She's going to come out with the other foot, down into those heels and back. Switching. You can either have your weights in your hands as dumbbells across your shoulders. And then she's going to come out and pause. And then we can do a static squat, meaning we're not moving, or static lunge, meaning we're not moving and we're just going up and down. I'm going to have you switch around so your other leg is forward. And as she does her static lunge, this hind glute right here is always engaged. She's squeezing this as tight as she possibly can, this rear glute. As she comes up, especially up at the top, you're able to get a really good contraction up at the top. Again, our weight is in our right heel. Do about 15 on each side, 3 times. Another strength training exercise that's really going to develop the glutes quickly, especially with added weight, is the leg press. I have Natanya here. She's doing a single leg press. The difference between a single leg and a double leg is we're working on balancing out those asymmetries. Most of us have a more dominant leg, and if we do a double leg press, that dominant leg we're going to remain dominant, and our lesser leg is going to continue to be a little bit weaker. So that's why I always want you to work out one leg at a time so we can eliminate any asymmetries. So in our leg press, again, we want to make sure we're pushed through our heels, and go ahead and press. And when we come down, all in our heels, we want to make a nice 90-degree angle and then right back up. Now I want you to push yourself each and every time to come down a little deeper and a little deeper to your comfort level. Now as Natanya sits here, she's rotating the hips back into this crack. Rather than letting the hips sink out, we want to push them back into the mat or into the bench. Her belly button is pulled in, so the transverse abdominis is engaged. And we're going nice, smooth tempo. We don't want to rush through these. Time under tension is going to equal muscle growth. So the last exercise we want to go to is on the multi-hip machine. This is great for working our glutes, especially isolating them. Now a lot of people just stand on here and they swing their leg, but that's a little bit waste of time. I want to make sure we get the most out of our workout in our limited time. So what I'm going to have Natanya do here is we're going to dorsiflex, pulling up those toes, making the leg nice and rigid. Rather than swinging her leg back, I want her to push her heel straight down into the ground, and as she does that, it's really going to engage that left glute. Then she comes back up, she pushes it straight down. Rather than swinging that leg back, we're going straight down with that heel. This leg is unlocked, and the second we unlock it, every single muscle in this leg tightens up. So we're not only working this leg here, we're working the stability in our standing leg. So do a couple more, pushing that heel straight down and right back up. Our upper body, our core is engaged, meaning pulling that belly button into that spine and pressing that heel straight down. So in closing, I just want to say that there's one more exercise that's really good for maximizing glutes and creating a perfect bubble butt, and that's a squat. So please check out our squat video for that one. And we only hit on 3 exercises. There are many, many more, so continue to tune in, and we'll always go over things that'll help do your glutes. My name is Jared, and thanks for tuning.